Hey. This one crazy. This one feel like hitting the buzzer beater or something. Championship game. Dream team. Feeling better than I ever been. Cairo in his bag, this beat is heaven sent. Back up in my element. New whip, trunk up in the front, I whip an elephant. It's all limo tent, that's how you move when you the president. U.S. and off stream, treat them like my last name. Disrespecting, you just signed a check for a long day. Appetizer rappers, you will never be an entree. Really, you a condiment. And I hope y'all follow this. Crazy how people with the most money lack the common sense. Batman over Gotham, how I'm over shit. Running this game, now they finally noticing. Hear us on TV like, damn, yup, I know that's them. Just had to pay the dues. Now I feel like we could never lose. But it's us against the world. Now we finally got the tools. Watch a few years later, turn a puddle to a pool. We just gotta keep it hot to keep the family living cool. All we do is win like a size dad. I just bought my mom a Louis V bag. I just took little bro to BB Simons. Finna put my fam on the island, that's off one check. But I can't get reckless. The next one's
We are live, man. What's good, everybody, man? Welcome into the Coach's Lounge here on the Bluebloods. Myself, my guy, Coach Fred. Coach, how we feeling today, man?
Oh, man, feeling great. And then the intro just took it over the top, man. Did your thing with that one there, bro.
Hey, man, shout out to Montana State, man. Like I said, I sent you that song that they put on one of their similar shows that they have, man. So shout out for the idea on that one, man. One of the biggest guests, two of the biggest guests we've had on this show, Coach, since we started this thing. Let the people know, man, how this came together real quick and who we got joining us today.
Man, so the sponsors of the show, J.F. Haddon's, Twin P Whiskey, kids from the crib, man, guys I've known since they were itty bitty, doing bad things, running around the neighborhood, toilet papering people's trees and houses, just being real knuckleheads. And then just to see these guys grow up, man, and turn into the adults, the professionals, the businessmen they have. Once I got in contact with them and we re-linked up, it was a must that we had to do it. And then they were like, cool, man, we'll sponsor the Coach's Lounge. So it's like, y'all got to get on. So, to have these guys come on, man, is a pleasure, honor. We're gonna have a good time, man, with the twins, man. Team Pouncey.
What's going on, fellas? That intro was nice. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was over here jamming until I said, "Oh, they done got me now."
Nice and groovy. Nice and groovy. That's all right. Thank you guys for coming on, man. And like I said, they are the people that we talk about. The other two episodes that jumped in, sponsored this thing, man. So I need to know, since y'all the sponsors, now I'm gonna ask y'all on camera, what kind of episode we having here today? We having the Twin P Whiskey episode, or do I need to go get some wine? Or I need to get the Miami Vice vodka? What I got to do? Well, how we rolling today?
I mean, the catalog is crazy, but we got to go with that whiskey today.
Yeah, that's what we with today. Yeah, we promoting this one the most this time. That's our flagship brand, and we drank whiskey our whole lives. We love Jack Daniels, and so that's why we created something kind of a off spray of
better.
Yeah, something a little bit better than Jack Daniels. Yeah. A little off brand from Jack Daniels.
better.
Hopefully it gets as big as that brand one day, but.
Yeah, we're working for it for sure. But no, it's been a fun experience and a fun process for us to indulge into the liquor world outside of football, man. It's been a great time gaining new relationships, understanding the business sides, understanding price points, understanding that, man, you wish you could have every account in America, and it ain't realistically. It takes time to build out companies, and it takes time to build out the relationships and the success of a company. So, but it's been fun. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's busy as heck, but it's been an awesome ride so far.
Well, before we dive off into that, man, we're gonna get started at the Knucklehead Twins. We're gonna start way back. I know y'all been knowing you guys for a long time, man. So I'm gonna let my guy get his off, and then we're gonna really peel back the onion and see how many shots we get into this thing. So before we get real.
Yeah. I like that.
Man, but before we pivot, man, away from the business, a lot you hear a lot of NFL players at least question what they're going to do after the game. There's a lot of almost fear of retirement because you don't know what's coming next. When you guys sat down and decided to retire, did you know this is the direction you wanted to go? And if not, how long did it take for you guys to figure out that you guys wanted to be businessmen and start this company?
I think we had the mindset of doing it and setting up that foundation while we was playing. So we had a good group of financial advisors and our agent and our surrounding that was around us. And we came out and we got very lucky when we first came out because we came out in the real estate era. So a lot of stuff became really, really cheap for us. But when we indulged into the after like 7-8 years of doing the real estate side, the winery came available, and then man, we jumped right into it. We seen the day-to-day numbers for it, and then when we went into retirement, it's like, man, you know what? Like, man, it's crazy. We got to fly to Ohio or Sandusky or go to Columbus to see all the businesses all the time, man. Like, we want something that was down here that we could touch and be around every single day. And then the distillery and the Hayden's brand, the liqueur brand came above, and then obviously, we took over full ranks of everything, and it's been an amazing ride right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I just think that sometimes Mike say it all the time, man. When you have the real estate stuff, man, you go take your friends and your business partners to go see some things, and you're there for 5-10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, man, you know what? I own this now. Let's go to the local restaurant down the street and start having some drinks and food. You know what I mean? But so that's why I think for us, it just kept us in the mindset of like, man, we were retired at 30 years old, 31 years old, and man, are we going to act like we're 60, 70 years old and we're life is kind of boring for us? So we got to keep going. You know what I mean? The tribe ain't getting any smaller. You know what I mean? I got 3 daughters now. So, and Mike has, we just had a sweet 16 for Mike's oldest daughter. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, it was an awesome time, man.
That shit
Mike.
get expensive, boy.
I didn't want to bring that up, Mike. My bad.
Hey, Keith, we was getting to it.
Yeah. I got a couple years, Coach. That's why I got to keep pushing this whiskey, baby.
I guess the side of the the alcohol side of it just came for us, wanting to do something on a day-to-day basis. Like he said, we got bored with real estate. Like, all you do is just make money. You can't go there and on a day-to-day business and kind of handle things. You just watch it and then you wait for the big sale. But for us, it was more just, man, what are we gonna do on a day-to-day? So at first it was like, oh, let's do a lounge. Let's do something that, it gives us something to go to every single day. And it was like, man, you don't want to deal with all the headaches of hospitality and all that kind of stuff there. And
Insurance.
all the headaches of the different. Even though we have a bunch of employees that work for our company now, it's a different aspect of it. They're just going out pushing the alcohol for us and helping us build this company together. And so, man, we seen now how much you can make in alcohol. One thing I can tell you about people in this country, they're gonna drink alcohol. They're gonna drink it. They ain't gonna go
man,
down.
they shut down the grocery stores and let the liquor store open during the pandemic, baby. They here in America, yeah.
Everyone kind of knows, and I'm sure Coach is going to get into it, man. He's got his cue cards and everything. But, one thing we want to do on this show is go all the way back to the start. Listen, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. Coach is from Florida. You guys are from Florida. In the South, youth football, high school football is everything. Talk to me about how you guys got involved in football. And was it always, I'm going to go to college and play in the NFL, or was there another sport that you guys may have fell in love with early?
Yeah, I think just being from Lakeland, we never thought that we'd make it to the NFL just because the odds of going and coming from a small town and making it to the NFL, even just before the NFL, even the college, or just the odds are against you. And so for us, man, we just honestly we fell in love with the game as kids, and we didn't realize the outcome that could come with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just were just playing football, and we went to a great high school, ended up being around a bunch of great teammates, and we won a lot of football games, and a lot of us got a lot of notoriety from it. And so I think once we started getting recruited, that's when we put it in our head, all right, listen, because like Coach Fred said, man, like, we were knuckleheads growing up. Like, we had all the guidance in the world, but man, when you're from a small town, like, there ain't nothing else to do but, be a knucklehead there. And so for us, it was like, man, when we started getting recruited, we started taking it more serious. And once we got to college, man, it was full on, man. Hey, this is what we're gonna do for a living. Let's go be like Ray Lewis. Let's go be like those guys, Rod Smart, that made the NFL from Polk County. Let's go do it. And we put it together, and got fortunate and lucky enough to make it, because honestly, it takes everything to fall into place. It takes for you not to get injured at the right time. It takes for you to have a lot of team success. And honestly, it takes for you to play your best ball when it's time to, go to the NFL and get drafted. And so, all that kind of worked out for us in a great in our favor. And so we always appreciate the coaches and teammates we have, because we know without those guys, it wouldn't even be possible, because we could have ended up at another school and not win and played the national championships and SEC championships and been in the spotlight in a lot of primetime games, but we were because of the football team we decided to join. And so, a lot of that stuff is through team success comes individual success, and we've learned that, and that's how we kind of made our business model with our businesses now. And like, no one's bigger than the team, because without the team, there's no success. And so,
Dang, man,
kind
I ain't gonna lie to you, baby. That was awesome.
of yeah, it's easy when you breaking it down, being real. Like, there ain't no bullshit with it. It's just that's honestly, that's just how we made it. And people ask, it sounds so cliche sometimes when you say, "How'd you make it?" And then we're just like hard work, and it's like, man, it's really hard work, but it also takes everything else to fall in place. You not to get in trouble, you not to get injured, you to go and you have success as a football team. Like, it takes everything, but like being American in this world, it takes hard work. Like, you can't be, I don't care what job you work, I don't care if it's a football player, a football coach, or if you're working at the grocery store. It takes for you every single day to go in there and work hard. That's part of being an American. And so, when I tell people how do you make it, man, it take everybody. It took every helping hand. It took everything, that all the hard work we did, plus everything falling into place.
Yeah, that's very true. I will, man. For anyone to sit there and say they did it all by themselves, man, they're almost absolutely crazy. Every time you watch a Hall of Fame speech or anybody who had success at the end of their career, man, they're thanking so many people, and obviously you forget to thank some people because along the way, man, there's so many people that helped you out and had that guidance there. Like, man, it is hard to thank everybody that time. You sit back and be like, dang, man, like, why didn't I say his name, or why did I mention this person? You know what I mean? So it's been. Mike's very right about that. Like, bro, there's only one way to success, and it takes a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff, like, people don't understand that stuff, and me and Mike believe in God a lot, and I think sometimes people underestimate, like, man, luck and the thing, like good karma and things that way. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff's true in this world. You can't tell me that there's the well's bigger than all our houses out here, and there ain't some type of like mystical stuff going on behind that stuff. You know what I mean? But for anybody that's gonna watch this interview, bro, man, give it your all. Like, dreams come true. Like, me and Mike were big dreamers, and obviously, like Mike said, a lot of stuff fell into place. But, like, man, don't let people kill your dreams. There were so many people saying that we couldn't do this or couldn't do that, and all we ever did was just keep working. And at some point, like, man, people will stop talking about it and they'll hop on your train. Like, I can guarantee you that, guys. Sure.
Looking back, I'm gonna toss it to Coach after this. Who in both of your lives, who was the biggest single inspiration in terms of developing into the players you guys ultimately became? Whether it was a parent, a youth league coach, a high school coach. Just looking back, who was the biggest inspiration for you guys when you guys first entered the game?
Well, I think it's more just I mean, I think all that stuff is you can't pin it down with one thing, but I just think whenever the environment that we grew up in with our household and our family, like, man, it bred that. You know what I mean? We and our household was all football. Like, man, some people, our sisters were cheerleaders. Like, everyone bought into what me and Mike wanted to do. So I think once that path kind of played itself out, it was easy to kind of determine which area, which way things are going to go. Because, bro, I'm telling y'all, like, man, if people don't think it takes a village, like, you're absolutely crazy. It takes so much. Mike's around the kids every single day. He has a travel football team now. He has about 15, 20 kids that he trains every single day, daily, takes the kids around. And, like, man, if that involvement's not there, like, man, you're falling short on what life is now. Me and Mike, when we grew up, there was no internet. There was no, like, way of going to an IMG. Like, man, you had to just go out there to the field and put cones together. You know what I mean? Like, now the kids if you're not taking advantage of getting the kids training early, like, you're putting them so much far in the back burner as far as recruitment, like everything. Like, kids now have highlight tapes and they're getting ranked inside of middle schools. You know what I mean? So I tell people all the time, you're gonna wait to the last minute being an athlete, like, you're already giving your kids service immediately.
Yeah. But along the way, what motivated us was just different. Like, so for instance, when we were growing up as young bucks in Lakeland, it was a dream for us to go and play for Lakeland High School because Coach Bill Castle was a legend. And it was like, man, if you go and play at Lakeland High School, you got the biggest chance to get recruited. And so once we did that, it was like, all right, cool. So we admired it and we looked up to Coach Bill Castle, right? We get to University of Florida. We get around these great coaches, Coach Urban Meyer, Steve Adazio, Charlie Strong, all these people. And it was like, man, when you have a coach that you love, you won't let them down. And we were blessed enough to have those coaches along the way to get us to the NFL. Now, when we get to the NFL, you got to go to the right organization. Like, Maurkice was blessed enough to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they've had 3 coaches in the history of their football team. And he was coached by one, you know what I'm saying? And there's a luxury behind that because there's a luxury part of structure with pros. Like, when you're a pro, a lot of times they're like, when people aren't watching is when you really got to work. And as a pro, And as a college student, a high school student, man, there's always somebody watching when you're not looking. Like they're always pushing you to be great, like meal plans, working out. But as a pro, it takes everything. And so outside of you having to do it on your own as a pro, man, you need that structure where you have the same coaches, the same playbook, the same kind of, format, whereas guys believe in it and they buy in, instead of every single year you got, oh, we're firing this guy. Now it's a new regime. And then now it's this, it's that. It's always something. You're always trying to prove yourself to a coaching staff instead of trying to get better as a football team. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I ran into in my career. And, I had a great career. I don't complain about it, but it's just that I when I see kids get drafted, I just hope for they go to organizations that are going to do right by them, because it does, if you're not one of those top guys, it can really deter the way your career is going to turn out. And so, it's a lot of appreciation which organization you get in.
So with that being said, and I want to speed through it because I know Mike, I know you got your kids you got to get to. Then we'll kick it around with Maurkice. But I saw him drinking safety shots, so I don't even know.
we promote that one too, because hopefully that stock get to $75 a share one day, and then
yeah, we'll talk about a safety shot later on. But coming up, man, I tell y'all all the time. I specifically remember a camp where you guys were at the Down and Dirty, which was a big deal for us back in the day. The Skills Down and Dirty, and you guys were coming out of your freshman year. My uncle Gerardo was Lakeland police, and he used to talk about y'all guys all the time because he used to be at the games. He was one of the police that led y'all to y'all. So Lakeland High School travels like no other high school. And when these guys were playing, they had a entourage that they traveled with. There was like 5 police cars. Then there was a truck pulling the helmet. And then there was like 5. They traveled with 5 buses. And behind the bus, it was a battleship. Not to mention all the Booster Club behind it. So my uncle was with them guys. Like, they were a big deal because they had all this talent, man, and they were all 9th and 10th graders. So that's when Lakeland High School had been a big deal before. But when these guys hit the door, it was like, oh, they finna go for 4 in a row, that kind of thing. And he had told me about some incidents, outside of Simpson Park and things like that. And I saw you too, and I was like, hey, man, y'all gonna be scared to be great, huh? Y'all just gonna be knucklehead. It was you two and Kendrick Stewart. Yeah. Like, y'all just gonna be knucklehead. No, what you talking about? We good. I'll never forget that conversation at St. Leo. I don't know if y'all remember being in St. Leo. Mm-hmm. And so long story short, you guys turned that into something special your sophomore year. But you guys didn't start where you finished position-wise. Yeah. If y'all talk about that just a little bit as we, kind of grow through House of Twins and their transformation into becoming pros.
Yeah. So, man, Coach, we remember that day like it was yesterday too, because it was the start of, us kind of believing what was going to be how our lives turns out, and it was us believing that we're going to go to college for football, and it meant a lot to us going to those camps. Like, we felt like when you're from a small town, like you represent everybody in that town. Like, you literally know everybody. When you go to the store, you're going to see the same people every single day. Like, it becomes like, are you like one big family? And so when we always left out of town to go to those camps, we always felt like we was a representation of everybody that was in that town. And so, it meant a lot to us to go in and represent Lakeland at those places. And so I think that kind of, set us up to where. And my point was, when we went to Lakeland High School, is because everyone goes to Lakeland for competition, right? And so when we went to Lakeland, we knew that we was going to go against the best competition. This team had just won the state championship our first year there, right? We get on the team and we know that guys are going to be in front of us as seniors that were thinking the same way as us. So we set our sophomore year, but everyone seen the potential, and what we understood about. We could have been those guys and be like, you know what, man, we leaving this school. We're better than these guys that are in front of us. We want to go play somewhere, but man, we believed in a program. And that's what I mean, how the importance of a team and success becomes through individual success. Because if we'd have left at Lakeland at that point and went to another high school, who knows that we get recruited by the University of Florida or all these other schools, just because, man, we had Chris Rainey, we had Jamar Taylor, we had all these superstar guys where they wanted to come and watch these guys play. A lot of people just don't come out, and coaches just don't fly halfway across the world to watch offensive linemen. They just don't do it. They can get them anywhere. But we were blessed enough to play with these guys, and now we were talented as hell. Don't get me wrong, but man, some of that talent goes undisguised sometimes when you're not on a big team where you're getting all this motion like we were. And so That's why when I tell people, like, even when I coach my little league team now, everyone's like, man, why are you signing so many good players? I'd be saying, because I'd be a disservice by not doing that. Because by the time they get to high school, they won't be ready for competition. They won't be ready because they're not going to be competing with their peers anymore. They're going to be competing with that sophomore, that junior, that senior, guys that's been there. So it's like, man, when you sit there and give a kid a position his whole time while he's playing Little League, he has no development of a guy trying to push him to get better every single day in practice and all these other sorts of things. And so, I've made it a big part of my life to, make these kids' path easier to success. Not saying that it's going to be easy to make it, but give them an easier way to success. And that's by, teaching them the stuff that it's going to take to get to the next level and before they have to get there, because when you get there, it's too late. Like I told, I tell you, I coached in this All-American game, and I told the boys afterwards, because a lot of kids were disappointed, like, oh, we can make these all-star games. I didn't get to make a play today. And I'm like, bro, none of that matters. What matters in Little League, I promise you, when Coach Fred come recruit you, he ain't finna ask you how many touchdowns you scored in Little League. He don't give a fuck. He don't really care about none of that. What Coach Fred cares about is that you fell in love with the game, that you love football. So when he's recruiting you in high school, man, he shouldn't come in there and question, hey, do you love football? Because if he's questioning you that, you're recruiting the wrong guy. And it's simple with a lot of players. Like, the only way to make it in this game is to love it. It's like when you're with your wife. If you love her, you won't cheat on her. You won't. If you just like her, man, here, shit, you'll get an argument or two. Shit. Good luck. On that Twin P whiskey. You got to unmute yours. Keys unmuted. There you go. There you go. You still got to turn the microphone on.
Yeah, he might have to hop out and hop back in.
Yeah.
Go out, come back in, please. Look at.
Yeah, he's gonna come back in, but I mean, it's serious, man. Because I was coaching. I wasn't coaching my first year when I retired out of football, and I seen that, man. Just yelling from the sideline as a parent, you don't get across to any coach. Like I'm like that, because when I'm out there coaching, you think I'm gonna listen to the guy yelling behind the fence, and so I understood that, man. You got to be there, hands on with these kids, because if you're not, you leave it up to some guy that's probably just the neighborhood homeboy that's coaching your kid and teaching them how to tackle and all these other things. And you don't want that. Like, you want your kid to learn all this stuff at a young age, how to play the game of football, not only how to play it, but how to love the game of football. And you need the right people in their lives, because it's like, shit, if my kid wasn't playing sports, would I let hand him off to some random guy that was just trying to, teach him to be a man? I don't know. And that's why me and Keith kind of got, hands on with youth football. I know I do more than him in it, but man, he donates, and he gives his time when he can, because he runs the businesses. But it's been a fun process.
He brings the
for us.
speaker. He brings the speaker. That's what he told me. His job is to bring the speaker to practice.
And I had the microphone too, Coach. Don't forget about the microphone.
All he doing is giving me a hard time for the
I went
stands.
crazy with the horn.
He that crazy uncle out there calling me Mike Dungy. Now I'm Tony Dungy. Now I'm out.
Now you had to see him out there standing. I said, man, Mike think he a real deal Hall of Fame coach out there right now, don't he? And he out there with the forces on like Coach Tomlin.
Yeah, I'm out there imitating Coach Tomlin. You know I'm out there imitating.
But I was laughing. Caden just sent me a request for Cash App for $20. I just think it came across the screen. I said, boy, Caden, boy, he good. Caden on every other day, $20-$40.
Yeah, he don't play. That boy, he got his own mind.
Yeah, you teach me young.
So, we get to high school, man, and y'all have that success, and y'all go on that run where y'all are just, knocking everybody off. And the recruiters start to show up. And I think me and Keith kind of talked about it. Me and you never really talked about it, Mike. The disappointment that I had in y'all when y'all signed with Florida, man. I just, but it was understood, because usually everybody from your high school, from Lakeland High School, that's really good, that's where they go. But, I was disappointed, because I just knew y'all were going to Florida State. I just knew this. But there you go.
Honestly, we were too. But and Odell Hagen's it crushed us to this day, because man, that man recruited us when nobody else did. Yeah. And so he was the first one to believe in the Pouncey twins, and so it was a hard decision for us. But Urban Meyer, when we went up there, and we told Bobby them the same thing. But man, our boy, and when Urban gave our boy a scholarship, he was Stephen Wilkes. He was a white safety. He was getting recruited by ACC schools like Georgia Tech. Yeah, he was a baller. Yeah. He was a real baller. And Coach Meyer asked us what it would take, switch our commitment, and we had already known that John Brown, Chris Rainey, Paul Wilson was already going to go to Florida. And it was just really me, Keith, and Steve Wilkes, and our parents were best friends. Our mom's a white lady, his mom's a white lady. We grew up together. Like, we were really good friends, and so he was like, "Oh, let's just go to this." You know, we all went up to the camp. Rainey convinced us to go to the camp. But when we went up there, it was like, "There's no way we're going there. We don't like the school, nothing about it." You know, because we just grew up Seminole fans, and when you grow up a Seminole fan, you hate Florida, and you hate Miami. It's just that simple. And
And we
so
grew up
That's
we grew
it.
up in the hood, baby. You know, Florida State was on the blacker side at that point. You know,
yeah, so it's like,
so
yeah,
the
we
whole like
really
culture thing. We're like, oh man, this is crazy up here in Gainesville. You know what I mean? Like even though we're on both sides of that, like for it to like it was like a complete shock to us, man. We came from Lakeland. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, this
yeah.
is crazy. Like, good thing it is just like a little small town. And now, I mean, when we went back to Gainesville, now it's unbelievable. All the restaurants there, the new housing they have. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. You know what I mean? But
And so he ended up and was like, what it take? And was like, man, if you give him a scholarship, we just were bullshitting because we're like, there's no way he's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no time where NIL is important. It's man, we think me and Maurkice think we having the greatest trip of our life because man, we got free movies in a Hilton hotel with a box of pizza waiting on us. So we're thinking like, shit, man, we Heisman Trophy winners at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so yeah, so he said, yeah, we'll do it, and we're like, for real? And he's like, yeah, I give him a scholarship right now. He said, y'all committing? I said, we committed. When we got in that car and we called home and told our mom and dad, they said, call him right now. Y'all telling y'all decommitting. Y'all ain't going there. That's how deep we were embedded. Yeah, with Florida State, because everyone in our family, like the covers in the house, the blankets, everything you could think of was Florida State. So
bomber jackets, everything we had was
yeah,
Seminole.
like we knew everything about that team, all the championships, all the players. Like we looked up to Derrick Brooks. Like it was all these guys that we kind of, placed our game out there because we was playing little league football. We were linebackers, you know what I'm saying? Like linebackers, quarterback, running back. We played those positions, so we looked up to those guys and we wanted to be those guys when we got there. But yeah, so it crushed us too, man. Just because Odell's from Lakeland, he's from Bartow, Polk County, and
Bartok.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just that man, we wish that we would have done him right. You know what I'm saying? Not that it didn't work out for the best for all of us, because Odell coached there for what, 15 years. He's
Still there.
still there. You know
Still
what I'm
there.
saying? After we was
Yeah.
gone, and so it worked out for everybody. It was just more that man, he believed in us when no one else did, and it was like, man, we said
Man,
we
it was a
said we're gonna go
4 hour
there.
conversation, bro. I'm telling you
Yeah,
right now, like, man, tears involved. Like, man, trust me, it tore us apart too. But man, once that commitment happened, it was no way we could turn back from it. I mean,
yeah,
especially for
because
all us to go to the university together. And I mean, honestly, man, it turned out the best for the whole entire Polk County, the whole entire city. Like, obviously, all our careers, like, everyone's doing really well now. You know what I mean? So it was a cool little
And,
adventure, cool
and for
story.
the
We
people
can
that
still talk
don't
about
know y'all, I said, and for the people that don't know y'all or know, the history, because if you look at you guys, uh, okay, those are a bunch of black young men, African Americans. They don't realize that you guys are biracial.
it. Yeah.
So, just for the makeup that, so it's a different kind of, and I'm being politically correct here. It's a different kind of black guy that usually goes to Florida. There's a different kind of black guy that goes to Florida State. There's a
yeah,
different kind of black guy that goes to Miami from where we're from.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they didn't fit the bill of going to the U.S.
yeah.
Like, dude, y'all get in trouble, man. Y'all do this. I can't go to the U.S. Y'all gonna get thrown out of there. So, when they go there,
We got
it's
some
just,
trouble at UF. Luckily, man, social media wasn't big back then, honestly.
yeah. And we'll speak to that in a sec. We'll speak to that. We definitely gonna get to that. But you guys, you do that. Uh, you leave early, and y'all are there in January. You leave your senior year. After senior year, you enroll early enrollees. Was that more of a parent thing? Was that more of a you thing? Was that more of a coach thing? What led you guys to doing that? Because right now, college football is coming back full circle to where, as a high school kid, if you're not coming out in January, it's going to be tough. Just because of the portal,
Yep.
the junior college situation. What led you guys to doing that?
Coach Meyer was big on that. Like he presented to everybody and was like it was like kind of new at the time. He was like, man, I'm telling you, like this is something we need to do. Like going into your senior year, like make sure you guys have the FCAT pass. Make sure you have your test scores so that when it's time, you guys are able to graduate early. So he was the one that kind of pushed us towards it. And honestly, it helped us out. I mean, Keith ended up going in and starting as a true freshman. I think he was the only true freshman in the history of Florida to start as true freshman at the time. And as an offensive lineman, it was a big thing for us. And it was the reasoning was because he had 6 months advantage over everybody else that came in that year. And it was, I think it's a blessing for any kid to go and be able to go and get that college experience before it's really time to, go out there and, get on the football field, because you're going to go through spring practice where you learn the speed of the game. You're going to learn how to lift like a college player. You're going to learn how to go to class like a college player. And all that stuff, it matters because the nutrition, the college, all the scheduling stuff.
Faster too. You got to get used to the game. How fast
Yeah.
it was. Like, man, all the guys, you got to think about when you're on a high school team, man, the top 7 guys are pretty much, I mean, our high school was a little bit different. We had a lot of great players, but most of the guys, when you're going from high school, there's only 5 great guys on the team. And then when you go to a big time university, everybody's great. There's 5 stars that don't sit on the bench or on the scout team. There's 4 stars that are great players on the team, or 2 stars. Like, man, everyone's great. And that's why I try to tell people, like, man, we caught up to the adjustment of the game and the speed of the college thing because we went early. If we would have went into camp in summertime, I mean, we never know what the careers would have did, but I just don't think we would have got on the field as fast as we did. Mike started on defensive line his rookie year. He had an interception in the Capital One game. He got tackled by Jake Long after he was running slow as hell. But just to have the advantage of how cool was that? You know what I mean? He got to play on defensive line at the University of Florida rookie yeare and had some big impact over there just because of the simple fact because he came early. He went in January. Like, if we would have just showed up and been some slappies, some not mentally strong kids to show up in camp time in the summer, it would have never ever worked out in that fruition. No way. Yeah. It drove some guys crazy that actually did it. I think was John Brown the one that came later?
Yeah, he came later. Yeah, but honestly, it was the same thing. Even Keith, remember, we never wore knee braces. And so when you go to college, they're like, oh, you got to wear knee braces now. And so that was a big time adjustment for us. Like, it really changed the way you get in your stance, the way you move, how you run. So it was a good thing that we did go early because we learned how to wear knee braces. Like, it was a lot of different stuff that you had to get acclimated to that a lot of kids really don't even think about and consider because, shit, I know Coach Castle ain't make us wear no knee braces. Shit, it was out there. Yeah, I'm out there with a knee pad on,
knee brace.
And so I'm trying to learn how to pull.
That thing,
yeah, it's like, man, you trying to learn how to pull. Or you feel like what Forrest Gump, really like running. Like, that's really how you felt at first. Like, your legs are kicking to the side, and we're knock-kneed. So now I think about being knock-kneed with knee braces. Like, shit, you got man, I'm thinking coach I'm thinking he's trying to put me at a disadvantage. Like, he don't like
hold on, bro, you ain't trying to make football harder, are you? Like, what you doing?
Them Don Joy.
This ain't no Ricky Hazen, is it?
Yeah. And so, I think the advantage is it does well. Now I think some schools don't even allow you to graduate early just because of the term, like the way their schooling works as far as like private schooling and public schooling. So I think that's a little bit disadvantage for a lot of private schools because I know my bad. That's the keys. It's crazy. That's Stephen Wilkes calling me. That's our buddy we got the scholarship for. Yeah, he called me.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how you know we can't be making this stuff up, baby. Team House don't lie, baby. We can't lie.
He's blowing me up right now. I say, damn, he must be watching.
Why y'all telling that story, man?
Yeah. Why y'all telling everybody? You know I earned that scholarship.
He did though, bro. Just at the time, you know how that is. There wasn't a lot of scholarships though for all of us.
Ain't nobody giving no white safety scholarship in the SEC. I mean,
Adam
Archuleta was the last one, wasn't he? Where Adam Archuleta went?
Well, he was at the Giants though, wasn't he? That's all I remember about him in college.
It wasn't SEC, right? Yeah, there wasn't a lot of white safeties white DBs in period, but definitely in the SEC shit. So
no, they all go to Iowa. Yeah, they all go to Iowa now.
He came there, converted over to everything. Like, man, he was the like that hybrid like fullback tight end. Man, I'm telling you right now, man, he was killing in the springtime. Like, he would have been he was starting and everything. And he tore his knee, and then tore his ACL, so he missed the whole entire season. And then he comes back the next year, and then he met spikes on the goal line. Man, a lot of us done met spikes on the goal line, and it's hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was straight spinal tap, neck injury, and it's considered your whole life at that moment. Like, man, football ain't for everybody. You go to make it up all kind of shit. Like, I want to see my grandkids. Man, you ain't even had kids yet.
But we got to ask. I mean, were the drills as bad as everyone made it seem? Because, obviously after the documentary came out, a bunch of stories were done. Were the mat drills and all that as bad as everyone said? Like, any crazy stories about when they first introduced those to you guys?
We were crazy, so that it just matched our model. But yeah, everything was extremely hard. The University of Florida, we had the midnight lift, the midnight master lifts. I mean, everything they push you to the absolute limit. As a top athlete, they should. Because I'm telling you right now, at the next level, it got even harder. Playing against them guys, having that routine, the schedule, making sure you're on the day-to-day because you don't have, like Mike said, you don't have the strength coach there or someone checking you into your class or telling you to go eat. It's a lot of that responsibility goes on you as a younger adult. Hell, I got drafted at 20 years old. My mom signed my contract with me. I said, you can't have all this now. Don't get
She could have ran off with half
Yeah,
that.
And you couldn't say nothing about it.
Hey, Coach, those mat drills though, they were real. Like, man, when they say, hey, so we used to do this one where you have to line up at the end of the mat, right? And no matter what, Coach say, man, I don't care how you got to do it, make it to the other end of that mat. And the first whistle would tell the guy on the front on the ground he got to go. The second whistle tells the guy standing up to jump on his back. Man, I used to see guys hit that first whistle, wait, and as soon as they hear the second whistle, turn around and punch them. It's like, bro, like whatever it takes, biting, everything. Man, you got to
man, people
sometimes
done
they got to
got
wake
choked
guys
out,
up.
man.
He done
Then
got
people done
choked
got
out.
passed out.
Yeah, he done got choked out. Like he in there.
That grip on him,
Yeah,
coach.
he
Won't
cutting
even
his
let him
head.
go.
Go to sleep.
Won't even let him go. I don't care what he's tapping out or not. They would have hit another whistle.
Yeah, because if you don't make it across that line, if you don't make it to the other end of the mat, you stay over there. It's till you get to the other end. Like so, you gonna be done wrestle 10, 12 people before the end of the day over with. Like, okay, yeah, man. People go to think about anything. I'm talking, man. Whatever it take to get over there.
And honestly, bro, it was a brotherhood. Like, man, no one ever took nothing ever got outside of obviously there's probably a couple fights here and now and then, but everything, you know how it is, bro. You're training for gladiators and you're training for that type of arena and that type of professionalism and that top notch athlete. I don't care what anyone says, it takes that. It's like saying, man, we're gonna go if someone's gonna join the army, but not go do any tactical things, start breaking down buildings, actually like doing the terrain stuff. Like, bro, it's almost like you got to make it make sense at some point.
Yeah,
Because I saw on the Swamp Kings, y'all are in there in a little bit, just a smidget copy, and I saw y'all with the face paint on, and the 3-4 clips that I was able to see you guys, y'all were together, which leads me to, I know high school y'all had the same class schedule. When y'all went to Florida, were y'all in the same class schedule?
Almost. He had bowling. I ain't have bowling. I was pissed off about that, man.
Yeah, but he had meditation class. So
yeah,
they got me back when they gave him that one. So
I was hot about that. But yeah, we took the same. We had the same major, and so we told our guy Jason Storch was like, man, make sure we're in all the same classes. Like we got to go to class. We might all be there together. You know what I'm saying?
It made it easier. It kept us more accountable for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But
so
yeah,
it's always from high school to college.
It was the hardest, man. Listen, Coach, it was the hardest transition in the world. Whenever he left as a junior and I stayed my senior year, like that transition was hard because, man, not only did I lose my guy, like, man, I lost, man, my routine. I lost my best friend. You lose everything in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like a person that wake you up, motivate you. And we
I'm
on
calling
two
him,
different
telling
schedules.
him about everything we're doing and how you don't have to wake up and go to school. And man, you're done at practice at 3:00 and we're at the house doing whatever we're doing. You know what I mean? You're a real
They done at 3:30. I'm just not getting out of class, going to practice, putting on my knee braces. I'm like, man, what the hell? I done stayed for college for my senior year. This man living like this? Shit.
Weren't you the higher rated prospect?
Nah, Keith was. He had won the Remington Trophy, and I was rated high too, but it was just more my coach. I love my coach. I loved him. It was Steve Adazio. He done been a head coach for a couple different schools since leaving Florida, but man, I loved him, and he wanted me to stay and be more versatile, play other positions just to get on film and stuff. He knew I was gonna get drafted. I was just more. He was just saying like, hey, if you come back and play center, you're gonna be a guaranteed first rounder. So I'm like, shit, guaranteed. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna come back. I come back first game of the year. I done rolled 3 snaps back. I'm like, man, ain't no fucking guarantee no more. I gotta play. I gotta play some football now. Like,
guarantee out the window. It's
guarantee out the window. Yeah, ain't no more guarantee. I have to void it. It was voided.
He done made me a 5th round draft pick. He done brought me back and made me a 6th rounder.
Yeah, but man, I fought through a lot of adversity that year, and man, honestly, it made me a better football player and it prepared me for the NFL, to be real. Because man, like when I got to the NFL, it was everything that I had dreamed of, but it was everything that I thought was and expected. Like it was harder than I thought and I expected. I'm like, dang, like nah, it's real. The lights are on every single day, and more than just anything. Like I remember going through practices at college, and they're easy sometimes. Like you're such a good player, you're going against guys that aren't really NFL guys, and so like, man, you could go literally half speed sometimes and beat those guys when you're a really good football player. When you get to the NFL, everyone's good. Like there's no taking no play off because the guy that you're taking a play off on is a scout team guy that's trying to take your spot. So it's like, man, it ain't the Pro Bowler. It ain't the Pro Bowler that's going out there making every sack on Sunday, or the guy that's making every tackle at nose guard. Man, it's the guy that man wants to be that guy that's practicing 10 times harder than him and trying to prove every single day. I'm talking even when you ain't got pads on it. So that's what guys got to prepare for in the NFL is that, man, every single day is game day. there ain't no day where you sitting there. The moment you think that it ain't game day, man, you finna get your ass kicked. And you even have one of your worst practices because
You gonna miss so many assignments. You're overthinking everything. Like, man,
yeah,
you
it's
get
like
bull rush back one play. You're back in the quarterback's lap. Man, you can't even think straight. Man, he saying, man, stay off my feet. Get out my lap. Like, get out the throwing lane. There's so much stuff
yeah.
going through your
Keith
head.
done been there. Tell him about that preseason game, Keith, when you was when you played Washington that time.
And I'm just telling you right now, listen, man. I went there, and my boy Gilbert, he like, man, let's just go grab some food. So we go to a little lounge thing, right? I'm out there hitting me a little hookah. Man, I'm eating fries. Had me a little jacket coat. I'm like, man, you know, I done laid it down. Like, okay, man, I go out there, coach. I ain't lying to you, bro. Swim move. Boom, back of the head. Boom, boom, boom. That bit hit me all types of moves. I'm out there bit in slow motion. I'm like, how is he moving like this, dog? Like, man, I'm chasing this mug in the backfield. Like, man, throw it. I'm like,
Hey, so let me give you a funnier one than that though. So like, I come down my rookie year, right? So we're lockout. We're like, all right, the NFL's all fucked up. It's in a blender, and so I done got drafted. I'll come down draft as soon as I go out to dinner with the coaches. They call and say, hey, we lockouts back effective. So boom, I gotta leave dinner right away, right? So months go by, whatever, we go to training, we about to go to training camp. I still ain't signed my deal because, man, at this time now it's the new rookie scale. And so they ain't really
You
figured
first
out.
round, right?
Yeah,
You
the first
first
rounder.
round.
So they ain't really figured out how they want to do all this with the fully guaranteed or how they was going to do everything. But, now it's fully guaranteed for everybody pretty much, you know what I'm saying? But this was the first year of it. And so I'm holding out. I'm like, hell no. Like, man, it's only $9 million. Like, man, I'm already taking less. Because the year before that same pick, when the old scale made double that money. So instead of making just
Right,
9,
right.
he made
Because they
18.
capped it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
capped it.
so they made a cap. So that's why I'm sitting in my mind like, what the hell we arguing about? Like, you save money, you got me for a discount price, right? And so I called my agent. I'm like, they stay 2 days in the training camp. The first 2 days straight helmets. I called my agent. I said, hey man, what you think? My strength coach Frank, he coming down from the University of Florida. Man, I want to take the boys out. He say, what you think? I think you think I'm gonna sign. He say, man, 100% you don't sign tomorrow, or even the next day. We ain't nowhere close to terms. I say, shit, all right. I go out, had a time of my fucking life that night. I'm drinking. I'm at Blondie's. I'm at everywhere on Fort
elbow
Lauderdale Beach.
room.
I'm going in. They got to carry me to the house. Matter of fact, man, it's 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. This motherfucker called my phone. He said, Pounce, I'm sorry to tell you this, man, but you got to go in there and sign your contract. I said, I can't. I said, they carry me in the house. So anyway, I get it together. Yeah, hold my bad. I get it together, right? And so I'm like, all right, cool. I get in there, go sign the contract. The next day, the coach said, hey, man, you full pass tomorrow. I said, all right, well, I'm thinking in my head, ain't no way they're going to put me in there. I don't even got the damn playbook. Man, this man throw me out there, right, with the ones. I'm going against Paul Soliai. This motherfucker 6'4", 360, Samoan motherfucker, and I'm telling you, he mad as a motherfucker. He done drank kava all night. When I tell you I was out there Vietnam blocking, they say, what's Vietnam blocking? I say, just watch the tape. I'm on the ground, diving, cutting people's legs out. Man, all I know is even go right, all right, go left. I know they watch that film and say, we drafted this motherfucker in the first round. They don't know I'm still wasted from the night before. Like, and I got the meanest Samoa in the whole NFL I'm going against at practice. Man, I was so blown. I called my agent, man. I say, man, I don't know how the fuck I'm giving you this 3%. You ain't worth it.
Yeah,
You told me 100% I want to go sign that contract today. Yeah, man, it was fun, man. The NFL, boy, it humbles you fast, man. It does humble you fast. But the biggest thing about our retirement part, man, was learning that you're a civilian now. And when I tell people that, they laugh. They're like, what you mean civilian? I'm just like, well, because now when we go to doctor's offices, we sit in the waiting room. Like, but I didn't even know what a waiting room looked like before. We used to always go in the back door, go in these places, and I'm sitting there waiting an hour and a half just to get my ticket called. Like,
man, we still not so much paperwork, man. Paperwork used to already be written up. We
Keith,
good.
yours muted.
Nah, he was up.
Oh, okay, my bad. I ain't hear him.
Come on, bro. I said, man, I was talking about the paperwork. I
Nah,
said,
you
man,
got to
how
go
we in
back
there?
in. You got to come back in, Keith.
No, we got him.
We get it. You can't hear him,
though.
Mike?
Yeah, I just can't hear him.
I got you.
Yeah, I was saying
That's
the paperwork.
wild.
Now we got to fill out all the paperwork. We got to put all the work down. I said, golly, boy, I ain't never filled out 20 pages before the doctor seen me. I used to hand the envelope. It was already done. Mike, you got to leave and come back in, Mike, because someone was calling your phone.
He's Mike. He said you got to hop in and hop back out because when you get a call, it sometimes there you go. But man, I got to ask because we kind of are moving into the NFL now. But before we get away from Florida, is there a game in your career that you look back on as one that you wish you could experience one more time?
Oh my God. I mean, there are plenty of them. Most of our rivals, because when you're in college and high school, like man, you're taught so much rivalry. Like everything's like, man, we don't even call Florida State Florida State. We call them the team out west. You know what I mean? So everything's like still to your head for like it's just the competition part of it. You know what I mean? So I mean, every time we play Florida State, I mean any big SEC game. Obviously, when we played Miami one time, that was super cool. That's gonna be big this year when playing them. But I mean. That's why I tell you guys, like, man, we had such a fun career with the teams we had, the games we got to play in, the teammates that we had. Like, bro, our experience is so much different and overdrawn and elaborated than some other people's that people think we're just lying sometimes. Just like, bro, like, I can't explain it. You know what I mean? The SC championship, for us to play Oklahoma in the national championship, like, us playing Alabama back-to-back years. Like, man, some of that stuff is just unspoken and unseen. And I don't know if it'll ever be like that same type of genre what we had. You know what I mean?
Man, you got to pay a kid now.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going for the love of the game. Ain't nobody going to bleed orange and blue. Like the only way they bleed orange and blue if you paying $1 million. I'm just being real.
Mike, that's before taxes.
Yeah. So you better come with two.
Yeah.
Now I got to ask y'all. I mean, you guys had so many stars on that Florida team, man. Listen, I'll tell you, I'm an Auburn fan, so I graduated from Auburn. So I'm in the SEC too. Hearing about the NIL stuff nowadays is crazy, but I don't think there's a team in the country right now that has more stars than you guys had at Florida. What would the NIL bill be for y'all's team if NIL was around during the time you guys were in college?
Just Tebow alone, there ain't a dollar amount just for Tebow alone. Like if you really
Well,
look
that's
at
at the
my
bank.
Tebow would have been on a private plane. He would have had his own jet. He would have had so many multiple cars. Like, man, he would have had everything he wanted. You know what I mean?
Just him alone. I mean, what's guys getting paid now at the quarterback position? What they get like
At
5-10 million?
The minimum for Matt Rule, the Nebraska coach said the minimum is 1.5
a year, right?
Yeah, that's to keep me there.
That's to keep him from transferring because Cam Ward's transferred what, coach, 3 times now?
Yeah, and when he started, I think he started at 300,000. Somebody gave him 500,000, and the last one was like $1 million.
I'm glad that's why my boy quarterback. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, do some push-ups, boy. Do some push-ups enough.
Yeah, nephew, you want that $20 in cash out, baby? Let's go to get it done.
Well, yeah, man, that's crazy. Honestly, man, listen, I'm gonna get back into coaching to be real, like at that level. Like I want to see my boy get to high school first, and then once I'm comfortable with taking my foot off the gas a little bit with him, then I'm gonna get back in just. Cause I'm ready for it. Like I love coaching. Like it's so fun for me. I really I love coaching my boy, but man, I love coaching O-line. And like I know what I can bring to the next level. And so I just keep him fresh with it. I'm gonna win a couple little league Super Bowls real quick. Then fuck around, be like Deion at prime, get prime time.
You hear some former NFL guys though say they can't coach at the NFL. Like you hear guys like Deion and stuff say, "Man, I can't coach grown men. Like I'll coach college, high school, little league." For both of you guys, have you ever thought about being a coach at the NFL, or is it just little league, high school to college potentially for you guys?
I've thought about coaching. I want to coach in the NFL one day. That's my goal, to play and coach in there. And it's more not. And I understand what Deion's saying, like because. Like a lot of times as a coach, like you can mold kids. Like they're gonna listen to you easier. But my whole thing is that once you get to the NFL, man, I shouldn't have to coach you that way. I shouldn't have to coach you anything outside of football. Like you should already be a professional when it comes to working hard and to doing everything it takes to be a pro. Like when we're coaching there, that's what I expected from my coaches, man. I didn't care about if we became friends outside of football and all the other stuff, man, it's awesome because you know what? We spend a lot of time with each other. But at the end of the day, I respected you more if you just coached me as a football player. Because you as a pro, like I was already there to be a pro. Like I was there to make Pro Bowls and make a legacy for myself. Like I wanted you to coach me on what's best technique to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like not all the other stuff. And that's what sometimes I think it chases guys off that were former players because they seen in the NFL that guys weren't like them, where they didn't have to be coached on hard work and all this other stuff. They were just coached on technique and just football stuff. And you see it like you be like, man, it blows your mind the number of guys that are sitting inside that meeting room. Say it's a O-line room and there's 15 guys in the O-line room. It will literally blow your mind to sit there and think that, man, only probably about maybe 7 of those guys give everything they got. Work hard, show up for workouts, don't skip reps, that love football. The rest of those guys, man, they're just in there. And that's what drives you crazy as a great player sometimes because you're like, damn, like they're paying you millions of dollars. Like you're already in the NFL, the highest rank of your profession. Like why does somebody have to tell you to work hard? Why does somebody tell you to show up early? Like why are you missing meetings? Like all that kind of stuff, and it just
Making weight.
yeah, like man, all the stuff that it takes to be a pro. Like why we got to coach you on that part of it? And that's why I think it turns a lot of like the Deons away from coaching the NFL because it's like. Man, it drive you crazy, especially when you already got a bunch of money to sit there and have to try and change a grown man into somebody. You know what I mean? Like
But
I
I like
tell
what
people all the
Antonio
time.
Pierce said too, though. Like as far as like bringing back the greats that's been around football, who love football, who want to coach football. What he's doing with Ocho, bringing him out there, like the
Yeah.
staff is great, and like I think that's super cool. Like man, look at the coaches who actually like the Vrabels, the guys who actually played football and they're coaching. Coach Tomlin was a hell of a freaking player in college. Like I know people don't they underestimate that when you see him play receiver, like he was a great player. You know what I mean? So
A
when you
lot of
got
these guys was. Sean McVay was he was Mr. whatever he was out of his state. They don't mean he got to be in the NFL to be a great coach. It's just like, man, great coach. A lot of great coaches don't make it to the NFL, to be honest with you. They just don't. And it's part of the reason because once guys make it to the NFL and they're great players and they have great careers, it's like the last thing they want to do is go back and be in that, not say lifestyle, but it's a lot being a coach. Like your family has to be bought into it. It's so many hours of travel. Not only are you done at 5 o'clock with coaching your team, but you're staying there to 10 o'clock, breaking down film, preparing for the next week. And then outside of that, now once the season's over, if you're in college, you're recruiting. If not, you're not recruiting. You're in the NFL, you're at the combine, you're still recruiting because you're going to go find guys that help you keep your job. And so that's why a lot of the times it's like I think guys it's hard to find those great football players to coach football because they understand that the amount that it takes to be great at something. And then when they go to transform to be coaches, they want to be great at that too. And they know what it's going to take to go, all it's going to go to put into being a great football coach. You know what I'm saying? And so that it's more the time aspect of it. And I think more back in the day when coaches weren't getting paid as much, it kind of turned guys off. But now shit, to seeing what coaches are getting paid, man, guys are more willing to be like, you know what, shit, I will give it all my time for me. You know what I mean? You end up making less than $100,000. You get given every hour of your life to this shit. It's like, what's the point? It's like now you see some coaches shit, man. They bought Jimbo Fisher out. They fired him and gave him $70 million. Shit. Man,
Don't come
they can
back.
fire. Hey, they can fire Mike Pouncey and give me two. I don't give a damn. Just give me two.
yeah, go right to Okeechobee on the ranch.
Yeah, I'm taking it right to the ranch.
Grab that John Deere and go to work, baby.
But yeah, I think the incentive part of it gives guys more, more of a reason to get back into coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as a coach, you got to start from the bottom. Like, there ain't no just coming in and getting no 7-figure job. Like, go grind your way up, be away, and that's the part that turns guys off. But man, knowing that it's easier for guys like us that played for a long time. And if we want to go get a job right now, we wouldn't have to start from the bottom where you're scraping up from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might get a head job anywhere, but we get put on in a position where we go and be set up for success. Because man, how I look at it, man, any football community you're in, it's a brotherhood and it's a small community, and you're very cautious of who you let in. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so hard to get a coach, because you just don't want to hire anybody. Like, it's like you want guys with resumes, but at the end of the day, man, once you get how I looked at it when I got to the NFL is that, man, it's all about who you know at that level, because they expect you to already be a good football player. They don't want to sit there and be like, hey, let me develop you for 2 years and then hopefully your third year you're a good player, when the career is not for long. It only lasts 3 to 4 years. That coach looking at it like, shit, those 2 years you done fucked me and my family over. Like, man, me and my wife been arguing, I lost 7, 8 games. Like, for real, I'm being that shit funny, but I'm being serious, because that's what it really is. Like,
on us. They write
at
stories.
the NFL level, shit, I can get anybody to go in there and coach.
Yeah, you gotta need more than that. You gonna need a whole case of that.
Yeah, you gonna need
especially in the SEC. The SEC, you might not even get a year anymore. They fired the dude at Mississippi State after 8 games this year.
Man, they're just coach. There's this coach named Coach JB, and he's a funny ass guy. He does.
I sent it to Fred. Fred, no,
yeah,
remember
you
thing I sent you?
Yeah. We had him on.
Yeah. Can you go out and get a girlfriend? Can you go out and get women? Because if you can't go do that, you can't recruit. It's that simple. Hey, baby.
Man, I'm telling you right now, that's one of the best things I'm like. And this dude's spot on. Like,
another baby died.
There goes my middle kid right there. What's up, baby girl?
Another baby died.
She said another puppy just passed away.
For real?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my girl dog, she had 12 puppies, so she's down to 8 now.
So I'm glad she popped in. That was one of the questions that I had for y'all. Being identical, and before your mom went irate about the tattoos and stuff like that, when y'all had kids, was there ever any double takes from say your daughter, Mike? Like who? Wait,
Even now to this day, Keith is newborn. Like if Marquise ain't there, she thinks it's me, so she'll start crying. She'll be like, "Oh, it's him." And then when we're both there, she knows right away. She'll look and she'll be like, she'll go to Marquise. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
It
I
is
guess
weird.
I give her that same
The
feel.
kids know. Our mom will get it confused sometimes, but the kids know for sure.
Yeah, the kids, they figured out quick. She's probably the only one because she's so young, but she's young enough where she sees us together, she knows. But when she sees that like he's not there, it's a sense of the same size, that same kind of, look with the tattoos, the same kind of build, and she feels comfortable with, that we're kind of like identical in a way, like. But yeah, we our kids, man, they give us so much joy. Like,
Oh, I've been around it, and it's cool to see like Marquise is the I call him the candy dad.
Oh man.
So if she starts crying, he's gonna give candy. He ain't trying to
You gotta
figure it
let them
out.
be
He's gonna
kids,
give
bro. You gotta
candy.
let them be kids. You gotta let them be
He
kids.
ain't yelling. If he yell,
Don't get me in trouble on
it's
here.
gonna be followed with some candy. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
I'm gonna get in trouble on here now.
Nah, Coach Fred, I'm glad you said that because if I've been saying that, he'd be talking shit to me like, man, you soft. Now when you hear it from you, he ain't gonna say that.
So listen. So
I
he
got all
got her.
girls. I got all girls. They have
He
made me
got
talk.
her in a stroller. He's strolling her through the house. You know,
Man, that
I
boy
was
doing
like,
anything to
man,
keep that baby from crying.
Oh man.
man, look
That boy
at
not
it,
standing
look
on
at
one
that.
leg. He all doing kind of all
I'm
kind
already,
of.
I'm already telling her she came in to tell you, big girls don't cry, baby. Real talk, big girls do not cry.
So, Mike, you the oldest.
Yep.
Uh, so, and being the oldest, a couple of minutes. Once you were old enough to realize that mom said, "Hey, you," was it in you to take care of Keith? But I've been around y'all a couple times, and Keith tell you, man, keep talking now, put your choke on, and you fire right back. Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, I can still, you know. At what age was it that you became a protective piece?
Honestly, like it was always protective. Like I've never ever looked at it like I was Marquise's older brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we always tell people all the time. They be like, "Man, who's the older brother?" I'm like, "We the same age." And honestly, and to be honest with you, like I felt like Marquise took on that role, like because he was the first one to go and be a professional. Like he was the one to go to the
Okay.
NFL first. And so like I've always looked at Keith like a big brother because man, it was like whenever it was time for us to be adults, I went to him to advice like, "Hey, what's the NFL gonna be like, man? What is it?" Like he taught me how to,
Okay.
man, how to say the name of a filet mignon. Like I go into a steakhouse and it looked like filet mignon. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. He taught me all that because he was along the way as a professional, as an adult, he went first. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so
Right.
like that aspect of it was like, all right, man, Keith is the bigger brother. And he's always took on that role because he's the one that, went into like kind of adulthood first. And so as growing up as kids, man, we were very protective of each other because we're best friends. Like it was like, man, if I'm fighting, you fighting. And it was that simple. It was no hesitation. Like it was like we got in an argument, even though I know he was wrong, I'm arguing with him. Now afterwards, I'm gonna tell you, hey, bro, you tripping, you wrong. But while we there, I don't care what he said. The sky could have been green. He could
Man,
say
we're
the
in the
sky
back of the
green, but
paddy.
man,
We're
that
in the
sky
back of the
green.
paddy
What you
wagon.
look?
Like, dang, bro, you done messed up.
Yeah,
But we
but
got him, didn't we? We got him, didn't we?
but as far as the big brother thing, I think Keith kind of embraced that role just because he went to adulthood first. As far as like, man, us going to our careers and professions, and so, and honestly, it was a good thing for both of us. Like we've never had to ever compete at anything. We've always did like the same thing. We've always worked for the same thing, and with me and Keith, we never envied each other. We've always wanted the best for each other. So like when I see Keith make a Pro Bowl, I'm happier than me making a Pro Bowl because it was like, man, it meant so much because I know everything he put in. I was there with him every single step of the way. And so if he made the Pro Bowl and I didn't, we both made it because I know both of us did every workout together. Now he had to go on the football field by himself, but man, it takes a lot to go in the off season as a pro. And so I appreciate everything Keith's done for me in my career. And even now to this day, like he's embraced that role and never ever, not wanted it or never ever sat there and shied away from it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot when you're representing, our brand as the Pouncey twins. And it's a lot trying to take that lead role. And Keith has never, never backed down from it. He's took full advantage of it. So
Before I pass it back to Zach real quick, Keith, what you had him riding around UFA? He went out
yeah,
on
he
Keith.
had me in an Escalade. But guess what, Fred? I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you one thing about Keith. I'm gonna tell you one thing about Keith, right? So He bought me the Escalade, right? So I'm thinking I'm big dog on
Senior
campus.
year,
Man,
on you on campus.
I'm him. I got a debit card with his name on it. He done bought me a Breitling watch. He bought me a necklace. Fred, when I tell you I got drafted, that boy Tom, man, you know I need Ada. Hey, how you doing? Good to
Yo,
see you.
what's up? What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, so Fred, that boy, hey, you know that boy's an Indian giver. He took back my Breitling watch. He took back my necklace. He damn sure took back his debit card, and he made me get he made me get an Escalade to my mama. I said, so everything was on rent. Everything was on rent.
Fred, baby, we got to keep the money. We got to keep the money in the family, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, so it all worked out. You know what I mean? It ain't like I went and gave it to somebody else. I just, put it back where it's supposed to be at.
But that's what I mean. He take on that big brother role. He ain't even gonna like a big brother. Be like, hell, nah, I'm keeping all that. He like, nah, bro. Look, hey, I paid off my them debt. You gonna give mom that car? That's gonna be her car.
Man, mom drove that car for years too. It was crazy,
but
crazy.
Man, Mike, you talked about you staying and Keith going off to the league, and you had to get used to that routine. Keith, how hard were you pushing the Steelers to draft Mike the next year in the draft, being like, man, you got to get the Pouncey twins back together in the NFL?
I thought it was gonna happen, honestly. Man, I don't. The rumor has it that they had to, after Mike went 15, and they had to trade with the Washington Redskins for Mike to be traded to the Steelers with the 16th pick, and then he got drafted by the Dolphins. It was crazy.
At 15, yeah. So man, listen, I would have loved
some things ain't supposed to come into fruition. Like, you never know. I mean, Mike would have probably came there. He had to sit the bench playing behind me. You know what I mean?
Man, hey, what would have happened was I took their Pro Bowl center out. Their Pro Bowl center would have been sitting there watching like, damn, man.
It'd have been super cool though, honestly. Like, man, that'd have been a dream. Cause we got to actually have that experience though. We got to play in the Pro Bowl right next to each other. Mike made the Pro Bowl at guard and center. And then the one year he went to guard, so we played right next to each other right at the Pro Bowl in Arizona. So I mean, we had that unique experience, and yeah, I mean, that right there was a time of our life. Tell them, how cool was that, bro?
I mean, we didn't want to come off the field. I mean, it was just like we were standing out there, like, man, we're standing in the huddle, and we're like, man, I can't believe this shit happening right now, like. And on top of it, we got Geno Atkins going 115% out there, and we in the Pro Bowl. I'm just like,
man, Mike came back over there. I was out one series. Mike came over. He said, "Keith, get back in." I said, "Huh?" He's talking about, bro, get back in right fucking now. Like, oh. Line it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and Mike went up to that line and said, look, bro, you got two options, bro. You can walk out of here or you can crutch out of here. You decide. Yeah, real talk.
Yeah, like, man, come on, bro. We in the Pro Bowl. They done turned this shit into a flag game, and you out here trying to win the truck. Defensive MVP.
Yeah. Man, not on us.
Man, not on duty. Not on duty.
I mean, it's kind of a current event. I mean, how do you guys feel as former NFL players seeing where the Pro Bowl's gone? You guys hear all the media. One side understands that the other side's consistently ripping it, showing the Ed Reed highlights, taking punters' heads off, and all this stuff. Like, where do y'all fall in this debate? Has it gotten a little too extreme, or is there like a healthy in between that they miss?
They should turn it into a big festival. Like, man, the Super Bowl's the next week. Like, it's not like if you want to watch the real football, like that, it's coming. You know what I mean? Like, don't judge that because guys have put in a lot that season. And that game there, why should they go into the offseason and even risk getting hurt? You know what I mean?
I mean, I've seen the NBA guys in the All-Star game put up 212 points, like in a basketball game. So it's the same concept. So I agree with the flag football stuff just because, man, there's a lot riding on a guy's career, whether he gets hurt in this game or not. Like, so for example, what was his last name, Keith? Zach Effort. He was a tight end.
Yeah, is it?
He was tight end for Cincinnati Bengals. Anyway, he breaks his ankle in the Pro Bowl, and it's like, bro, he's going up
Tyler
on a contract.
Eifert.
Tyler Eifert was a baller. I'm talking a complete baller. He breaks his ankle about to go into a contract year, and that's my point. It's like, man, okay, the fans are disappointed because the Pro Bowl game isn't physical, and they're not. But then you got a guy that's worked every day of his life to go and get this big time contract, and then you get hurt in a celebrity game that means nothing, that you get no pay for, no justification for. So it's like, for us, we as players, you understand it. Like as former players, you don't understand it because you're like, man, we did all that, and it's like, man, they wouldn't understand how to practice in this day's NFL because even the practices are easier. Like it's not far as like the competition, but like as far as timing, like you're only out there an hour and a half and compared to 3 hours. There ain't two a day practices anymore. The second practice is a walkthrough. Like, so you're never gonna get across to somebody that played in that old era because, man, they only know one thing. they didn't play in both of them. Like Maurkice, he came in, he had 2 days first as a rookie, and it's like, all right, you see that era, you understand how hard it is. Now you see the new NFL era where it's softer, but honestly, it prolongs guys' careers. It gives them a longer chance to make more money, and it's better for the the long-term effects after football. You know what I'm saying? As we see with guys that played in the old era, that they try and live in this day society, and it's hard for them because of all the injuries that they put up with throughout their careers. And I think that NFL done a great job with making this game softer, but still putting out a great product to where people love. It's like still that gladiator feel. Like it's still tough to go out and play football. Like it ain't like, oh, now it's like, oh, that powder puff or it's softer. It's still still get that same excitement for football. It's just that it helps the guys now actually playing the game live a better life afterwards. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, now we're playing internationally. Like, look how much the game has grown. Like, they had to change the imaging of to make it safe for kids to go back to playing football outside again and playing little league
Yeah.
sports. A lot of that takes a hit on it, even with the whole flag thing. The flag's amazing. The flag has grown on me so much. Being around it, seeing the structure of the kids, like understanding like what it brings to the game, like taking the pounding off the kids and not having to do it year round. They can go to a flag and then they go to tackle for the end of the season. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff has grown on us tremendously. You know what I mean?
Because Fred and Lakeland, we had year-round tackle football. They had spring league, they had fall league, and so that because it gave kids something to do. Now in South Florida, they don't have a spring league. Your spring league is just working out, practicing, or you playing flag or a 7v7. That's and I think it's better for the kids. Like it keeps them, it gives them a chance for their bodies to develop more. Like there's a lot of stuff that you want a kid to do at that age, and we didn't really know how important all that stuff was because, man, you know what? You got to go through stuff to build the right structure and platform for people to be successful. Like you can't just go out there and think that, hey, from day one, Amazon was Amazon. Like it just don't work like that. Like it took steps to get to the successful part that it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I look at the kids the same way. Like every step of their life is important if they want to be a pro. And then every step of their life, they want to be a doctor because, man, it takes a lot. Like everything you want to do in life, the steps to get there are more important than when you actually get there. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes way more to get there than actually stay there. And so, for us, like when we got to the NFL, like, we always use that motto. Like, bro, we're lucky to be here. Don't take it for granted. Do not take it for
tell
granted.
people all the time, man. I call Mike and this is dead serious. Like, man, I call him and I just laugh, like, brother, like, you serious? Like, this really happened for us. You know what I mean? Like, we're beyond thankful. Like, we know there's so many. Like, look at the transfer portal now with college kids, man. On day 2 is 3,000 kids. Like, that's why I say, like, man, the appreciation level that has taken away from sports now because of the NIL process. And which, don't get me wrong, like, man, the schools and all these other people are funding off the kids for so long. So I think it's an amazing thing that has happened, but they have to get a stronghold on it. I think we got to start having big time talks about financial literacy, teaching kids. Like, you'll go in front of a big time university and tell a kid to write Team Pouncey Foundation $100,000 check, and they can't write a check. So I mean, but we're giving them $1 million to play football. You know what I mean? So a lot of that stuff, I think they're working on. Don't get me wrong, they're working extremely hard on. The senates are the senators and the state officials are working tremendously hard to try to figure out some of the loopholes and to fix some of these things. But whenever big time changes like that come, man, I tell people all the time, like, man, give it time. The kinks will work itself out. Like, man, just like Mike said, Amazon wasn't Amazon day one. Like, man, it takes a lot of time to work out kinks. You know what I mean? And especially some of the weak links and that type of stuff.
Just because it was the Wild Wild West for so long, and I think the hardest part with this whole it was because and the hardest part with this whole NIL process to me is just getting each state to agree to to have the same kind of rules. That's the biggest. That's the biggest dysfunction that you have is that all right, Florida's set of rules are different in Texas, and Texas is different in California, and so all that gives different states competitive advantages, right, in recruiting because now you can pay a kid before you're supposed to, or there are all these other different rules that. I think they got to fix it. Everything starts up top. Like if you want stuff to get fixed and you want structure to start, just like I'm saying, it's always important to go into the right organization. It starts from the very top. And so I think they got to come up with a law with this whole NIL to get every state in agreement to like, all right, let's get a control of this. Because if not, then kids are going to pick certain states because they get more advantages to go to those schools. And those schools are going to flourish more than other schools because of those, the rules and regulations that are put in by each state. And so until they fix the law part of it, man, it's gonna stay the way it is, you know what I mean? And it's hard to kind of disagree with it whenever everyone's trying to find that competitive advantage to get guys to come to their school. And I think everyone got to stop. The people got to stop bitching and complaining about it until they change the law. And until they change the law, there's nothing gonna get changed. It's
nothing you can do about it. Right?
Nothing you can do about it. Because I don't know how common it was for you guys around Lakeland and stuff like that, but I remember when I was in Alabama, kids really didn't transfer schools a lot unless they actually moved. man, like up until
Yep.
recently, I mean, kids are transferring to a new high school every year,
Yeah.
just
You
doing
could,
different deals and stuff like that. I mean, especially now in Florida, obviously with the IMGs, it's probably
Yep.
crazy. But I remember when I was coming up through the high school ranks, man, no one transferred unless you actually moved as a family.
It
First of all,
blows my mind that
the city
you could
officials
play
are blocking a
football
lot
for
of
one high school. You can play football for one high school, leave that high school, go play basketball for another one. Or even this is even crazier. You could play 2 games for a high school, it mattered 3 games, leave that high school for playing football and go play on another high school football team and play against that team. Like
Yeah,
it's
the
just
next week.
crazy to me that how that, how and honestly it gives kids an advantage to go play places because sometimes you know how it is when you're stuck in that 10-mile radius, it's hard because of competition. Everyone wants to go there. So it is, I do think it gives kids an advantage to go somewhere and play somewhere at a high school level. Because I know whenever if you didn't lie about your where you lived at, shit, you had to go to a certain high school where you in your area, and that kind of puts you at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're growing up in a neighborhood or area where there's a lot of talent. Because man, those same kids are going to the same school because they have to. They can't go to any other school.
Even in
So
college, bro, we couldn't transfer out like that. You definitely
no,
couldn't transfer to the same SEC.
no,
Oh
they
yeah,
had so many
All the way out to a
stipulations.
whole different league. You know what I mean? So that there
Y'all
put a
was
lot
supposed
of
to go to
guys
George
at
Jenkins
risk
though,
of even
wasn't y'all?
transferring out.
Yeah, we were zoned for George Jenkins. That was my point. We just used another address to go to Lakeland High School. But if we didn't have nobody over there and we'd just had to go to George Jenkins, look, who knows if the Pouncey twins or the Pouncey twins. We might be selecting motherfucking at Publix. You know, that's what home of Publix anyway.
Man, well, it would have been the Albertsons, Mike. We
Yeah,
young,
we've been
bro. We would have
out.
been the Albertsons, bro. Yeah, they'll got my CDL license and got me a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
gulp. Yeah,
Can't been a
CDL, big
trucker.
gulp, and a bag of Taco Bell. I'd have been riding
Man, drinking so much damn soda.
out. For real.
go ahead, Coach.
So, before we get to that, man, before we speed up a little bit, but we're talking about your days, and y'all were inseparable. And then you get to the league. Now you're in Steel City. You down in the state of Florida. Uh, do we talk every day on the phone?
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, we
every
still
single day.
do.
Yeah, every single day. Most of the days we see each other because now, we push the alcohol a lot. But if we don't, for sure, we always either text or we for sure talk on the phone. If we don't talk on the phone, something wrong. Yeah, see,
So,
yeah.
so that leads me to this. So, Mike, you sitting at home watching that Monday night game.
hmm
A piece click out and Polk County jump out his body, and he just going haymaker crazy. Oh, my guy from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking in that moment? Because you at
What?
home
Okay,
watching this.
see this why this where the story get good. So I'm in Denver. Man, we playing the Broncos this week, man. I'm in Denver. I'm in the strip club. I'm in a hanging out, coach. And they end up playing the Browns. I'm in there watching the game. Me and my teammates. We hanging. I said, man, I'm watching. They got the girls dancing and everything. I'm like, hold on, bro fighting. I'm getting them out the way. Everybody get out the way. I'm up at the TV screen. I'm going
Right?
crazy
I'm
up
dying.
there.
Like he's telling me this. I say, man, there's no way, bro. I'm nervous about getting suspended. He's talking about, man, this story got crazy, bro. I seen you in the strip club, bro. You were throwing them things. I said, yeah, you seen the kick? Did you see the kick?
But yeah, that's
So to
just
give
how.
a backstory,
In my mind, I'm just
yeah.
like, man, it took me a while to process it because I'm just like, hold on, that's my brother. Hold on, he fighting. And then I'm like, man, no, it's the real fight. So it was real crazy, man. So I'm sitting there, my boys like, man, wait, they trying to, so we call them soon. I'm still out hanging out in Denver. After the game, we call him like, man, what going on, bro? He said, you seen the kick? I say, man, that's the first thing you think about is the kick.
But because that's what made me blink back into it. Like, bro, like the kick, I threw a kick, but it was a soft. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not at practice. And that's the first thing I thought in my head. Like, this ain't practice, bro. You on national TV. That's why I jumped back down a little soft punch. I'm like, oh, maybe they ain't see the kick. Man, that's the first thing they brought up on that phone call. Said, where'd the kick come from? I said, man.
Y'all
That's the
sitting
loyalty
there.
part, man. That's the loyalty part, man. He loved Big Ben. Well, that was Mason right at the
That was
time,
Mason. But
Mason.
yeah, I just blanked out when I seen that, bro. I'm just like, oh crap.
but that's the loyalty part with your
Honestly,
teammates,
and
man.
honestly, bro, honestly, it just showed like how me and Mike are as teammates. Like, man, it didn't have to be Big Ben. Like, it could have been anybody. It could have been the water boy on the sideline. But if someone hit it with a helmet, like in my mind, I'm just like, oh, I got to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like, I mean, it kind of like played an advantage to where, I mean, hell, that looked bad on TV. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be honest.
I mean, hey, but listen, he was a hero,
I mean,
though.
trust me, I'm a hero for it. At Pittsburgh, trust me, I'm Rocky there. But I mean, for professional sports,
Right.
that is not a good look for the NFL share. You know what I mean?
Hey, Fred, we going to
we
the first watch. I remember I came up there after after the season over. When I come up there, right, because it was towards the end of the year, and we go to first watch. This man get a standing ovation. I'm talking the whole everybody in there clapping like, yeah. I'm like
Now,
damn,
everywhere
boy.
I went, bro, they didn't say what they give me the fist. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, he thought about it.
So Mike, you watching it in Denver. So Keith, you turn around, you see the action going on. I mean, no questions asked. You all in it. You all in it. And then you talk about the kick, right? And then I fall out laughing every time I think about it because it's like the instant you remember, wait a minute, this is real. This is a real game. Then you try to go high. You try to move away from the crowd. And there's other melees breaking out. But you
Man, and then you see, hey, Coach, I'm just standing there like, man, what's going on out here? Like, I didn't start all this shit.
Yeah. I know they ain't gonna kick me out.
Man, the whole time, both sidelines are clear. The stand's the only thing that ain't clear yet. You know what I mean?
You move to the side, and then you just got your hands on your hips. And I'm just like, I'm dying laughing every time I look at it because I'm like, at that point, I wonder, is he counting days or is he counting dollar signs? Because now it's like you almost trying to hide to get away from all these other skirmishes breaking out. You ain't even paying attention to that no more.
In my mind, I'm like, man, they looking for AB. There ain't no way they got me on screen. But no, honestly, like with the whole organization, like, man, they stood behind me with it. But I mean, I had to rightfully come out and say sorry about certain things. But they I think they understood that, man, I was willing to pay the fine. You know what I mean? And I mean, it sucked that I got suspended. And that drove me crazy, like crazy. I mean, like unreal. You know what I mean? But no matter what any NFL player says, man, they want to play on the weekends. The true players, they want to go from playing practicing that whole entire weekend and go showcasing. You know what I mean? Because the stories are being talked about. You're getting asked about the players that you're playing against every single day. You're asking what the game flow is going to go like, how the run game is, what's their pass rush like. Man, I'm doing more promoting other players on interviews at the practice than anything. I'm like, God, no, like, bro, I done broke down the whole scout report on this dude. Like, this dude gonna think he's a Hall of Famer out there. I said,
yeah, this interview, he gonna think he's the greatest player in the world.
Yeah, he just don't know play what I'm gonna tell him. He don't know play what I'm gonna tell him immediately. Like, boy, it's on, dog. I don't know what I said in the media about you, bro, but I ain't mean none of
it. So you get past that, man. You get past that. You got to deal with the fines. I think I asked you. You were like, man, he was on his rookie deal. So did the because it was a big fine. It was a big fine.
It would be.
Did anybody say, "Hey, Keith, here you go, man"? Give you that handshake? Or was
Hell
it
no,
like,
Coach.
hey,
I'm a year 10 at that point. Or year 10, I done made 9 Pro Bowls. They're like, I ain't giving Keith a goddamn dollar.
Yeah, shit. He don't even know dollar. He's good.
They're like, he's got it. I'm looking for Mr. Rooney and everything. I think he's gonna walk up with a bag.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll drop the bag. I'm looking in the locker. Maybe he put the money over here. I still ain't found.
Maybe they kind of make it a surprise. They don't hit it.
Yeah, I know he's just trying to, man, show me real love. He's trying to make me like strange for it. You know what I mean? I'm side-eyeing him on the flights and everything. Like, man, what you gonna how we about to do this exchange, Mr. Rooney? Like, how it's gonna work out? I remember your daddy bought it off a horse bet. Yeah. we gonna run it back them days.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure it out, but no, I ended up paying that fine. It was worth everything, honestly. Like, it was worth it, bro. Honestly, for the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way the organizations have been over the years, like, it was the right thing to do, rightfully so.
Yep.
True. So we get to the end of it, man, and that infamous picture, you sitting there with Ben.
Yeah.
And you said you knew it was time. Mm-hmm. So when you get to the locker room, do you pick up a cell phone and tell big bro, like, dog, is it? I ain't got it no more. Or is this a end of the year thing? We gonna meet up at the crib and we gonna talk about it. Because we retired at the same time.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was more for Mike. I mean, you seen physically it was over for him. Man. He had the hip surgery. And for me, I just didn't, and I'm very honest about like the way that my career went. I'm very thankful for. I just went a gladiator at the end. Like, and my last year, like, it's just more like I'm so used to walking out there, but I didn't give a damn if the Hulk was out there, if Superman was out there. Like, I never ever questioned like what play we was gonna do. Like, And once that set into my head, I'm just like, damn, like, am I older? Like, I didn't have these injuries. Like, man, so much shit is playing through my head at that point. You know what I mean? And I was just like, man, I can't go out there like the player I've been over the years and the fight we done had. Like, I can't go out there and embarrass what the Pouncey name is. You know what I mean? Like, I rather walk away with this thing, like, knowing, keeping my head high and just being very honest with it. Like, man, there's some young boys out there and them motherfuckers are playing. And Maurkice done had 9 ankle surgeries, a full knee reconstruction. I got a torn hip, and ain't no excuse behind it. But I'm just like, man, I got to give credit where credit's due. Boy, them boys out there getting it done. You know what I mean? And I can only, I'm at that point in my career. I'm really practicing once a week. And the other practice, like I'm taking some of the, I'm hurt. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, like I was on we did the pivot show. And I'm just like, man, I just took too many blade cuts. Like I got to the point, like, bro, I got tired of getting shot. I got tired of getting stabbed. Like I'm fighting through everything. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. And I just didn't want to, like, I had a hell of a career, like, but there was nothing to complain about it. Like, I had the ultimate time of my life. You know what I mean? Like, I was so blessed, and the business endeavors that came from it, like the relationships, the friendships I had. Like, I can't never ever take that back. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, bro, like the memories you never ever took it. Like, they're stored in the bank, bro. Trust me. I'll ride down the street one day and a song might come on. There was a game day song, and I'm thinking I'm about to go hit the stadium again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
you start crying and shit. Get emotional now.
Yeah, like, man, well, I remember this song right here, boy.
So we get to it, man. Y'all make the decision. You go tell mom, tell the family. We make the announcement. What's the next move?
It was straight to the kids at that point. At that point, I tell everybody, like, man, we still don't have it figured out. I know we have a lot of great things going on, business endeavor-wise, but, like, man, we're still figuring out our day-to-day schedule. You see Mike that went straight to coaching all the time. He does the part-time on the business. Like, it's so much scheduling, like, and us still trying to figure out our lives and raising our kids at the same exact time. Like, so I tell you, like, man, take time to truly think about what you want to do. Because you don't want to get involved with something that you're not going to be full ahead of steam on, and you're not going to have your hands on, because at that point it's going to drive you crazy when something doesn't go your way. You know what I mean? You can withstand failure if you understand and you see the path and how to get through failure. You know what I mean? If you don't fail before, understand to keep working through the process and understand, like, man, things eventually work out. But if the moment you stop and keep looking back, bro, you're going to keep tripping, moving forward. You know what I mean? And I think that's where me and Mike are at in our lives right now. Like, man, we're still day to day, still trying to figure it out every single day. And I think it's more just us, our experience, us trying to live, like, us trying to guide our other family members and our other friends that are around us. You know what I mean? I just think that life is a full process. Like, you don't think about all the things you've done until you're a great grandparent. You know what I mean? Like, you really can. You know what I mean? In my eyes, you know what I mean? I think our grandparents have showed us that. Like, man, what hell? They sat back and they got 92 years old, and they sat back and they finally thought about all the things they did in their lives. And man, they just taught us, like, man, always believe in the man above, and man, and stay focused. Like, family comes before everything. And you're gonna find people along the way that ain't your blood that you're gonna treat like family, and that's for sure. And that's why we do this stuff for you, Coach Fred. Like, you was there when we was knuckleheads. You've seen our path. Like, man, you understand where we're at in life now. You know what I mean? So that's why we always give our time back. I know we're super busy a lot, but anything we can ever do, like lend a hand, give advice, or even show up for someone's event, knowing that we get nothing to gain from you. You know what I mean? We just understand our presence sometimes, us being around and us trying to help change lives, man. That we were blessed with so much that, man, we understand, like, man, us not giving back, man, it'll just take away from everything that was given from us. And honestly, it'll just build too much bad karma in my eyes.
Yeah. It would tarnish our legacy for sure. And so, like, we're big on that because, man, listen, we going along the way, man, if you the smartest people in the world, bro, they're learners. Like, they want to learn, and you got to want to as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, for us, we've always watched people. Like, we watch people we want to be like, and we watch them outside of football, and we've kind of took on their path because we've seen that, man. Every athlete isn't out there to take care of people, and you know what? They don't have to. It's not there. It's not a part of you being a professional. It's not a part. It doesn't come with what you sign up for. You got to truly in your heart want to give back and want to do for other people. And so we've seen the guys that have done it that were good football players, and we've seen the guys that have done it. That doesn't mean that we don't like that person. We just, man, we want to be the other way. And we've seen that as far as when people even come up to us, they're like, man, you guys are so approachable. And I'm just like, yeah, because we've understand that football, we're lucky to be football players. And, you know, not only just be football players, that you guys like football enough to where we got compensated enough for you to even care who the fuck we are. And we tell people all the time, like, we didn't create the next greatest thing. I didn't create the iPhones. Like, so, man, you got to be thankful that you were a football player and people love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something to be proud of. Like, it's not something that you should feel like you're better than somebody than because you were better at a sport. Like that doesn't make you a better person. So we've always seen the side of what, just staying humble and being true to yourself and true to everybody and just, just being normal. Like that was our biggest thing. I was like, what do you enjoy most about being retired? Is just being normal. Like for real, we do enjoy. Like I know we said like it was a shock to us about sitting inside a waiting room with your kids to go to hospitals and stuff. But man, like when we sit there, it was like, man, we don't sit there and get mad about that. We like because man, this is what we wanted. We wanted to be normal. Like we wanted to be able to go places and be able to just enjoy our time and not be in the limelight so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's been enjoyable. And I think it's part of the way we was raised and where we're from. Because if you really go back to like, I live in South Florida now. No one uses yes, ma'am, no, sir. They don't use that down here. Like we grew up in Central Florida where it's very, very country and like you use that a lot. So if you don't come to somebody that's older than you and be like, yes, ma'am, or no, sir, like it's like a sign of disrespect. When you use it down here in South Florida, they look at you like you're being disrespectful to them, like they're older. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you just it's part of the demographic where you live at, where you grow up at, the part of the way you're raised. But man, we're very thankful for the way we was raised because it made us the people we are. Like we are nobody. We're human just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And the moment you feel like you're better than somebody because of what you do, that's when you failed in life. And so
Well, B, I'm gonna let you. I feel like I kind of ran. I'm gonna let you roll with it a little bit, B. Because I know Mike got to get out of here in a little bit, but it's just so much to the
I gotta
onion.
probably get off at like 6:25, guys. I got a call at 6:30 with
Okay, okay.
okay.
It's 5:10. We got a little more,
yeah, we good. We good. Yeah,
little more to get out of this orange.
yeah. Squeeze it. Yeah, squeeze it. Trust me, we love it. Like that, people ask us all the time why we don't do podcasts, and it's just because man, we're not big on like content. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the stuff that you got to have with the podcast stuff. It's like man, people when they hear us talk, they're like, you guys are so articulate. Like you have so much to give back, and it's like yeah, when we tell about our path, but man, that runs out. That story runs out, like because it's the same story over and over. And a lot of times with podcasts, it's like it got to be another element to it, which is the content part. And man, it's
Well, the content here is those UF days that we kind of steered away
yeah,
from, but
yeah.
Marquise hit on it a little bit. Out of those 38 arrests, that was you know what? I won't even talk about that part. But I
Man,
want to
that was a
ask y'all
lot. Yeah,
about
that was a lot.
That's why I tell people, bro, that man, honestly, that's not even a bad thing. Like, man, we was a whole bunch of knuckleheaded kids that were all at the University of Florida at the same time. And I just think at that time too, like, man, the University of Florida, I don't think they ever had that many coachified kids. I mean, especially, and that's what we did. I think Coach Meyer did a good job of like, man, we started doing the ride-alongs with the police there. Like, man, we started getting involved with like the community stuff there. Like a lot of that stuff, like we came there, like, just think about it, bro. It's Gainesville. Like, man, they're not used to people from where we're from. Like most of all the kids that went there, like think about the guys we had, me, Mike, Percy, Brandon Spikes, Brandon James, like where I can go down a long list of like players that Hernandez, like you know what I mean, like Major Wright. Major Wright's a Broward County kid. Like he think he was a Gainesville native. Like no one knew what the aspect was, and I think that a lot of that stuff, like even now, like that's why I say, like man, the University of Florida did a good job of mending the whole entire city together. You know what I mean, like all that stuff takes time to grow. You know what I mean? Everything in life does. You know what I mean? Hell, we ride around the city now. Like, look where you ride around your local places. Like, everything in this world is changing. You know what I mean? And I think that everyone's starting to see that. Like, there's becoming women CEOs now. There's becoming people in Saudi Arabia. The women can have rights to vote and drive now. Like, all this stuff in the world is changing. I think if you don't get on the wave of believing and understanding it, man, you have to diversify yourself as far as like business-wise, especially in business. Now you can get in sports sometimes and be very to yourself because you could be a very private person, but like in the business world, if you're not diversified and understand how to go around and talk in front of
diversified.
people, yeah, like it almost like bro, like don't start a business because bro, it's not a one-sided thing here in America. Like man, America is a place where multi-cultures have came to and we have came together and bonded as one. You know what I mean? And it's the realest thing about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you love America. It's the greatest opportunity in the world, but you got to understand your opportunity. Nothing's going to be given to you in America. It takes a lot of hard work in every single thing.
So why weren't y'all on Swamp Kings?
So we just had disagreements with a lot of the stuff just because, man, listen, honestly, we thought it was a great show because I don't want to talk bad about it because a lot of our guys did it. But, man, that was the PG version. Like, to be honest with you know what I'm saying? And, like, for us, like, we're very real on, like, one day we want our story to be told. We want the right story to be told. We want everything to go about. We don't have to keep doing 3 or 4 different remakes on it. And so for us, like once we found out like who was all not going to be involved with it, all the guys that we knew meant the most to that program, it was like for us, it's like there was no point.
And then
and it was
we wanted Netflix to pay every single guy, even if they didn't do the interview part. They should have got a stipend from it. Like every single player on the University of Florida on that, when the years they were talking about, they should have at least got $10,000-$15,000 because Netflix is going to run that story. They're going to make a multiple millions on it, and then they just paid the guys like it was nothing. I mean, so for us, like man, there was so many different stories out there. They did the Hernandez thing, like man. At that point, it was just like man, tell the story to where it doesn't involve that part. You know what I mean? Because we already done went on there. We already done cried on the pivot. Like we explained everything with that. You know what I mean? So like we didn't want to bring that aspect to it to where it took away from what we actually did at the University of
The
Florida.
whole story.
yeah, the whole
It was
story.
great there, you know
And
what I mean?
then you don't have the guys that was in there. Like for me, like you got to understand the whole process of like, you guys know y'all do recruiting. You know how important, like it ain't the head coach, it's the other coaches that are very, very critical and important in getting those recruits there.
Yeah.
So we had like guys like Chuck Heater that wasn't in on the thing.
Coach Adazio, Coach Adazio was
Stephen
he was our game day
Dazio,
speaker, and like they didn't
all
like he
these
wasn't there.
people, you
Like
know what I'm saying? Like that meant the most, like that was recruiting over there. I remember what was it? Bob Lacevito. Like if anybody you guys know, Bob Lacevito is like the greatest recruiter in the history of Florida.
Is
Like
that
he
who recruited
made
y'all?
yeah, he was
first,
across
because he was at
we had
Florida
Strong
State.
too. You know, Strong Stanley, his wife's from Lakeland, so Charlie Strong and Dad, all of them were heavily involved.
But he recruited us too though. But he recruited
Yeah.
us when he was at Florida State. Remember that was like the guy that was giving all those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like man, there was a lot of shit that played in the play that man you should have had these people a part of. Like man, it could have made the story so much better, and you would have gave the people the real thing. Like you can't leave the NCAA and the rest, and you don't talk about like what happened and how you got through it. Like because in my mind, all it was just cleaning faces for a lot of people, which it did great for Urban Meyer and Tebow. Like it really did. Like if you thought one way about Coach Meyer, you think a totally different way about him now because he was a guy that gave second chances to people, and people look at him like, oh man, no, you didn't give. You just let these guys do whatever. It's like, no, man, he gave guys that gave second chances because these guys needed them. Like when guys grow up in some of these environments that they grow up in, man, a mistake for them and they go
That's
back
it.
to those same environments, they're gonna turn out and be that a terrible person. They're not gonna be the path that they're gonna go on if their coach gives them a second chance. And Coach Meyer was big on giving guys second chances. And that what people don't understand is that when he gave them second chances, it wasn't like, oh, you got in trouble. Hey, you know what? Everything's normal. Hell no, you kicked off the team. You got to work out by yourself. You got to earn everything back to get back on this football team. So when he was giving you a second chance, now you had to earn that second chance too. You had to work for it. It wasn't just, oh man, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna give him a second chance. Like forget what he did. Hell nah. Like he was big on man, you earning it back, but he was a guy that wasn't just gonna kick you off the team and just throw you to the side. You was gonna work out by yourself and do everything on your own until he trusted you again. You missed one class,
Coach Meyer
everything
did a
mattered with
great
that
job of
shit.
making young men men.
Yeah, he
Early.
turned young kids into men. That's what he did. Like it wasn't like, oh, this young kid coming here at 17 years old, and I promised his dad and his mom that I was gonna be a father figure for him. But the first time he got in trouble, man, I gave up on him. That ain't how it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of coaches do that because, man, when they're recruiting, they're like, shit, we're going to recruit somebody else. Or shit, I recruited 3 safeties in this draft class. Shit, what it matter if we get rid of one? You see what I'm saying? Coach Meyer wasn't like that. Like, he was a guy that was like,
He
man,
was
if I
passionate.
recruited you, I'm going to give you every chance you got. I mean, you're gonna earn it now, but I'm going to give you every chance you got to go and get past this level of your life. And
And
so
Coach
that's
Meyer
why
did a good
I
job
respect him.
he did a good job making guys not feel like they were what they like the pampering part. When we had 5-star guys that got treated like 1-star guys, like man, if you didn't play on that football field and
Yeah,
you
you got
weren't
to earn everything.
you didn't care what
Everything
star
had to
you
be
were.
earned.
Everything was, you know what I mean? So I tell people like, man, the amount of respect we grew as we got older and thought about the whole entire process with Coach Meyer, like the way he like handled himself, like we gained so much more respect for him because at that point we understood, like, man, you know what? He was making all of us men. He was trying to show other guys accountability and discipline early in their lives because he knew after what it was after college. Like he knew how this stuff could immediately change. This might be a guy's last time ever playing football ever in his life. And I don't think as a college, when you're at a D1 school, no one thinks that. Everyone
Yeah,
thinks
everyone thinks they're going to the NFL.
everyone does, you know what I mean? So I think he did a good job of humbling us all before we even knew what humbling was, you know what I mean? To be honest.
For real.
Zavala was crazy, man. We're coming off 3 state championships in high school. Like, man, it's hard to humble that. You know what I mean? And he did a hell of a job doing it.
Yeah, because there were 5-star guys there that, man, you would think just because you're a 5-star, he's going to treat you like you the greatest player in the world. Man, listen, you didn't play with Coach Meyer, man, it could be me, Maurkice, 2 other guys that they ain't playing. All us came in the same recruiting class. He's going to come up, hey, Pounce, what's going on? What's up, Maurkice? And walk right past those 2 dudes. And it wasn't that.
You guys going to class today? Man, I see you guys at practice. They have a good one.
Yeah, and then don't say nothing to them too. But he did that for a certain reason because he played those mind games. He's like, bro, everything in life's got to be earned. Like me liking you got to be earned. Like if you want to be on this football team,
I've already given you a full scholarship here. I've already did my part.
Yeah, I did my part.
That's what, and we didn't understand that part as kids. You know what I mean? Like, man, they already gave you a full ride to the University of Florida. You know how much this would cost your parents? None of us would go here. You know what I mean? Like, if we just had to physically like go out there and pay for it, like, there's no way we could do it. You know what I mean? At that point in our lives, you know what I'm saying? And I think he just did I got the utmost respect for the way he handled us. I know he done had some rocky paths, but man, that dude's a hell of a dude, hell of a coach. I love his family to death, his kids, like, bro, they're awesome people, bro. Real talk.
Real awesome people.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I think, the Swamp Kings thing, I think it was well produced and everything, but in my opinion, it felt very rushed.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, because it was going pretty slow in the beginning, and then it was just like all this happened and the end, and it's like that. They've done like 3-4 part documentaries before. It's like I feel like you guys needed one for each year of that entire run, because like every year it was like a new star would emerge. You guys would go on this run, face this adversity. I just felt like there was a story to be told. It was just they didn't allot themselves enough time to tell it. And like you said,
you need Chris Lee. You need all these guys, like, bro, like you need
Chris
all these.
should have been
You
in
need
there.
the main players. Like, you need. Okay, don't get me wrong. Like, man, Steve Harris, they were players on the team. They started whatever, but like, man, you need the real guys, like the Reggie Nelsons, the guys that
Reggie
were
Nelson.
the guy.
Wow.
Yeah, like, man, you have all these dudes.
Spice did
man.
it. Spice ended up doing it.
Yeah, Spice the only one did it, but you didn't. You didn't have Percy. You didn't have
Lewis Murphy. Like, man, there was guys out there like, man, Murphy was a dude that came through the struggle of it. Like, man, he had a whole different coaching staff, and then Coach Meyer came in. Like, man, a lot of that stuff, like, it was just some of the cool parts about the whole entire thing. Like, even like the whole like that like we were talking about the NIL process. Like, man, some of that stuff just imagine how Lewis Murphy was. Man, he went from Ron Zook making him the greatest player ever from Tampa, and then Coach Meyer comes in there and he's a scout team player. You know what I mean? Like, he has no respect for him. Yeah, because he didn't recruit him, so then he had to work his way all the way back from the bottom to from special teams to actually getting on the field, going out there balling and getting drafted in the NFL. You know what I mean? So
even like Keith, like Coach Mick, like Mick Maurkice. Mick Maurkice was big for that program. Like, he wasn't on the interview process. He's the strength coach. He's still the strength coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And it was like, man, there's a lot of people inside of that thing. Like, man, you even got to go back to even like the trainers. Like, the trainers know so much because they know the ins and outs of what was going on. Like, they see the day-to-day stuff, like the equipment guys. Like, you interview all these people that were actually there. Then you actually give people that the audience that sit at, man, this the real stuff going on, because these are the people that were like the smallest people of the whole pyramid, but they're the ones that see everything on a day-to-day basis. They know what's going on. So like all that, like you gotta even like the lawyers, like there was a lot of people that was involved with it that could have gave their
Hiram DeFreeze is our lawyer, baby. That he know everything, baby.
Yeah, and Huntley Johnson. Huntley was a monster. Like, he's the greatest attorney ever. Like, he was a beast. Like,
hey, Zach, there's a question in the comments for them.
Yeah, our guy EA, who's a FAMU fan, so he's around the Tallahassee area. He wants to know: did you guys take your housing stipend and move off campus?
Yeah,
they want to know if that's a true story.
Yeah, so once Coach Meyer, so he would always make the freshmen stay that first semester on there, depending on if you're a baller or not. If you came in late in the spring, so by the time the summer came, he would let you move off, but you had to stay your first semester on campus. But after that, we take our stipend. Hell yeah, and we pay our own rent.
Man, it was me, Michael Hernandez in there. We had like 4 or 5 dogs living in the back.
Yeah, we had 4 or 5 pit bulls. It was me, Keith Hernandez. We all lived together. We went
right back to living like we was in Lakeland, baby.
For real, drinking every day, like because at that point, like, you don't have nobody or your parents to say, hey, be home at this time, or hey, don't do that. It's like they call me, what you doing tonight? Oh, I'm studying. As soon as I hang up the phone, man, call everybody over. Like,
don't get me wrong, we'll go out and drink all night, but bro, I'm telling you right now, it was every morning 6 a.m. in the weight room. Like, when you're younger, and I'm not promoting this shit for any kid, I'm just saying our parents. when we were younger, we could drink and then wake up the next day and then go out there and perform at a high level. You know what I mean? But I don't recommend that for any athlete. I'm just saying, when we was knuckleheads at the University of Florida, that's the way we did it, fellas.
For real.
Hey,
I don't reckon for any kid watching this from Alcorn State, man, you better get a Gatorade and water.
For real,
stay away from that Twin Peaks.
Stay far away from that Twin Peaks.
Especially the wide receivers. No wide receivers at all, Corn.
Stay away from that Twin Peaks. Hey,
out there.
No, man.
I'd have been out there, Mike. Yeah, straight Hen Dog and Remy, baby.
Hey, what side of town y'all stay on, man? What side of town y'all gonna stay on?
Where we at now?
No, in Gainesville when y'all got the housing stipend.
We
stay right off Archer Road.
Yeah, right off Archer Road. But bro, we never. The thing that people always know about me and Mike, and what we never went to like the college bars. Like maybe some of them, but like man, we went to all the local stuff. Like man, that's how we went back and like we didn't go to it. They went to a T-Bag Tuesday with all the college kids. Like bro, we're at T-Bag Tuesdays at the local strip club down the street. You know what I mean? Like our path. Like, that's why whoever asked that question, they like probably like man, hell yeah, them boys are hanging out. You know what I mean? But
yeah, we was in the local clubs.
That area was different, bro. It was knucklehead stupid. I'm telling you right now, Caden Pouncey ain't gonna be doing that. Neither one of my daughters gonna be living like that. We done took enough L's and ass whippers from our dad and our mom and them, so we handled that part for them. We did it, so we knew the experience to tell them not to do it.
For sure.
Hey, Zach,
I gotta get on this other call, man. We'll catch up again next week, man. But thank you guys so much, man.
Yeah, appreciate
thank you,
it,
bro.
All right, guys. All right.
Yes, sir.
Man, guys, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Our guys, Mike and Maurkice Pouncey, man, the Pouncey twins, Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowlers, national champs at the collegiate level, man, all that. But, man, this is a wrap on the Coaches Lounge, man. We'll be back next week. Another big special guest announcement coming soon. Coaches Corner going to be fired back up later next week. I'll finish up with the Legacy Bowl this week, guys. But make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. For my guy, Coach Fred, for the Pouncey twins and myself, man. We out for right now.